Hello friends and welcome back or to Will and Bunny, our cozy space to talk about books. We are going to be mood reading my physical TBR today because I am getting myself into a bit of a reading slump with all of my planned reads. I want to take some time out, mood read my TBR and hopefully get off the cusp of this reading slump. So grab yourself your most warming hot drink, a cozy blanket, and let's get to mood reading. So the first book I've decided I'm going to be making my way through is Slaying the Vampire Conqueror. I own it physically, but I'm actually going to read it via Kindle because I joined Kindle Unlimited again for a short period of time just because I'm trying not to buy as many books recently. And that was like a 99p offer for 3 months or so. And there are a few titles that I wanted to read on Kindle Unlimited. So I signed up to that again. Vampire Conqueror is on there. Now this is a standalone in the Crown of Nyaxia world. I read Six Scorched Roses in the same world and absolutely loved it and adored it. I haven't yet read Serpent of the Wings of Night, which is the first book in like the duology that sets up this world, I believe. I did start reading that yesterday when I was in this like bit of a slump. I got like 70 pages in, then I ended up just like putting it down because I just wasn't in the mood for it. But I also managed to get the second book in that duology on Kindle, so perhaps I'll read this one, and if I'm loving the world, go back to that one and then read the second on Kindle. But we'll see, that's my choice, so let's get to reading. I thought I'd do a little reading check-in. So I'm still making my way through Slaying the Vampire Conqueror, I believe it's called. I picked it up on Kindle Unlimited, even though I have a physical edition, because I wanted to be able to read it in the evening when my eyes are a bit tired and increase the font, etc, etc. So I'm still making my way through that one, but because this is a mood reading vlog and I'm going where my mood takes me, I've also picked up ᴏᴘᴇᴜ. I am 74 pages through this one and I'm enjoying it. I'm really loving it, and I'm loving the writing style and how our protagonist is taking on this journey of like becoming a mermaid, about their trials and tribulations becoming a swimmer and their absolute infatuation of swimming, and the kind of growth to what I'm gonna assume is like adolescence or maybe becoming a mermaid, and the stories of like high school and what it means to be a swimmer and an immigrant and the sacrifices that her family have made and how different and an outsider she feels compared to her similar people, not her friends, but I can't think of the word. I'll just say companions in this kind of like swimming area, and how she is also dealing with these sapphic kind of feelings. She hasn't really actioned on them yet, and coming to grips with that. And it's just kind of like an explorationary piece. I want to say it kind of has like magical realism in it, but yeah, it's just really jarring in its discussions because there's a kind of like talk of her coming through this like history, like it's basically like a look back of her life so far. But then we also have one of her best friends, Kathy, writing letters to her reminiscing of the past as well. And so it's kind of tricking your brain because you're like, what's happening, and what's happened for it to get to this point. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm sat outside in the sun currently because it is baking hot. I think we're having like a heat wave in the UK, and yeah, it's so very warm, and so I'm sat outside reading and just devouring books. I just love sitting outside in the sun and reading. It just, yeah, I don't know, I just really enjoy it. So yeah, I feel like this is a perfect read because I can almost just like smell the chlorine and like feel the cold water for like a hot summer's day. So yeah, I don't know, I'm finding it a bit confusing because it's like, okay, where is this going? Is this like magical realism? Is this gonna go be horror? Like what's happening? But I feel like it's a really good story and I'm loving the protagonist and the writing style. and yeah, just absolutely flying through this one. So that was my update for like my current reads, and I just adore doing mood reading vlogs because I am such a true mood reader, and yeah, so this is definitely bringing me out of that slump that I was feeling, so I'm very glad about that. But yeah, I will check in with you very shortly. Hello friends, so it's been a few days since I last updated this video, mainly because I ended up just wanting to read and not really vlog, and I found myself getting in a bit of a slump, so I just wanted to give myself some space to read, but I'm very much in the creative spirit again, so I wanted to update you on some of the reads that I've done that I didn't really get a chance to talk about. I'm not quite sure what stage I got to what I did talk about, so I thought it'd just be useful to go through them all and do like a little recap. So first of all, I finished ᴏᴘᴇᴜ in the end. This had themes of magical realism, pressures in school, not conforming and not fitting in. It had elements of sexual predatism and also definitely trigger warnings kind of like surrounding sexualization of younger individuals in a school setting. It had immigration in here and the pressure of immigration. It also kind of focused on fixation and kind of becoming something other and becoming like a final form, and it was just very bizarre in its storytelling. It kind of also swapped narratives between being a letter from the best friend to the now, I don't want to spoil anything, but to the now main character, and also the main character's kind of recollection of this end journey, should I say. I know it's really vague, but I don't want to spoil anything. So if those themes sound interesting to you, I would definitely recommend it. It was very interesting in its reading and very unique. I feel like I haven't really read much like this before, and it was very obscure and ambiguous. So yeah, it was a fun, different read. So I do recommend it if those themes sound interesting to you. And then I finished, honestly, one of my favourite books of all time now, and that is The Courting of Bristol Keats. I immediately wanted to go into the second book, and it's not out until November this year, I think. I loved this book so very much. It was just amazing in how it was written and how it was told. It was fairy tale elements, forbidden romance in here. It felt very nostalgic for me in its kind of writing. It had fae and courts and lies and deception. It felt very A Court of Thorn and Roses-esque, and I could kind of see the drawings from each of that, in which I just really enjoyed this book, and it just felt so fun to get immersed into it and just so easy to read. And honestly, I just love the romance as well. I feel like it was just I don't know, I just loved the deception in here, the court politics, the life beyond fairy realm and lies and betrayal, and and like discovering the truth and always what's to come as well, and this really powerful main kick-ass female main character. I just thought it was just so much fun, and I truly loved it, and I cannot wait for the second installment and what's to come. So I highly recommend this book if you're interested in those kind of themes. And then kind of carrying on from enemies to lovers and kind of forbidden romance, I did end up finishing Slaying the Vampire Conqueror. Again, absolutely loved this one so much. So this has goddesses and gods in it. It has lies and deception. It has a really strong female main character in here, an equally strong male main character in here. This forbidden romance woven in, kingdoms and vampires, and I just loved it so very much. It had conquering in here and a realization that it's better to work together than apart. And again, the lies and deceptions of childhood and being told certain things, heartbreak and heartache and coming together. And I just highly recommend this book, especially because it can be read, I feel, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I've read it outside of the kind of other books. Like, it can be read as a standalone, and I loved the fact that it was just all encapsulated in one, and then the ending was the ending and that was that. Like, I feel like that was the only thing with this book. I was kind of like left wanting more, because obviously it's going to be a series, but this book felt very satisfying to end after reading the Courting of Bristol Keats, because it was just wrapped up in one, and I loved that about this book so very much. So yes, if they seem kind of interesting to you, I definitely recommend this one, and this made me want to read more and more of Carissa Broadbent's novels, because wow, what an amazing author and storyteller. And then, yeah, so outside of that, what I've been doing recently is reading tons and tons of romance books on my Kindle. I'm just in such a romance mood at the minute. I've honestly read too many for me to talk about right now, because we'd be here forever. But I'm just in a really big romance mood of like small town. I'm really enjoying found family and romance. I'm really enjoying just, I don't know, really heartwarming, soul healing romances. And I feel like romance for me is such a tricky genre, because I don't really like steamy scenes in romances. I feel like that's such a big unpopular opinion. I tend to skip over them, and I know that's probably like, oh, that's you're not reading the book, blah, blah, blah. I just don't find enjoyment in them. I find enjoyment in the kind of like angst and the getting together with the romance and the giddy feeling you feel when you know these people should be together and there's something stopping them, or the situation and them falling in love with one another. That's where I love romance the most, not in the kind of steamy scenes. I just don't really enjoy it. But a lot of romance now obviously does have open door, I think it's called, in the novels, because a lot of people do enjoy that. But yeah, for me personally, I always tend to just skip past those bits, because I don't know. I know it adds something to the story and it adds depth to the characters' relationships, and it would feel very surface level, I suppose, in a realistic relationship if that wasn't there. But at the same time, me reading wise, I just don't really like reading pages and pages of that. Like, I'll kind of just skim it and like get the general gist of what happens in case something happens that's important to the storyline, because sometimes there are issues that occur or discussions that happen during these scenes that do play a part in the character's development or the character themselves. But for the most part, I don't really enjoy these types of scenes. So yeah, but I've been having fun nevertheless with just really reading romance, and I'm just adoring mood reading at the minute, because it's just making me so come out of my shell of this slump and this kind of like creative rut I was feeling, because I'm just allowing myself to read whatever I want. And yeah, I'm just absolutely loving it and having so much fun. So that is my little update, and I feel like that's probably the end of the adventure. I'm going to obviously continue mood reading, because that's just who I am. But yeah, I just wanted to thank you so much, catch you up on the books that I've read, some of my thoughts. I'd love to know if any of these books sound interesting to you, if you're going to read any of these books, and I'd love to know your thoughts afterwards as well. So thank you ever so much for joining me on this adventure, and I hope that wherever you are and whatever you're doing, you have a wonderful day or night. Until next time, friends. Bye!